SVC Media.
Welcome to the iGaming Daily podcast, analysing the news from the betting and gaming industry all over the globe, supported by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market.
Welcome back to iGaming Daily. Today, we're going to bring you something a little bit different as we head over to the heart of Bucharest. We head to the Romanian capital to visit EveryMatrix, who have opened a brand new office in the city. We're going to chat to Ebbe Groes, CEO of EveryMatrix, about the history of the company, how the iGaming supplier began life in London before spreading its presence across the globe, from Romania to China. We also chat about some of the new opportunities for the iGaming industry that are emerging in Latin America, as well as some high-profile deals in the lottery sector that EveryMatrix have won. Before we head into the interview, I should tell you that iGaming Daily is brought to you by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market. And as a special offer, Optimove are offering new clients a free first month when they buy Optimove. For more information and to claim the free month, go to optimove.com/SBC. Links will also be left in the podcast episode description. I'm Charlie Horner, and this is our chat with Ebbe Groes, CEO of EveryMatrix. Hi, I'm Charlie Horner, and I'm delighted to be here in Bucharest at the HQ of EveryMatrix, and I'm delighted to be joined by CEO Ebbe Groes. Ebbe, it's great to have you with us. We're here to celebrate the opening of the new HQ, and it's 16 years since the founding of EveryMatrix. I was wondering if you could just walk us through the history of the company a little bit and how it developed in those early days.
Yeah, gladly, and thank you for coming to visit us. It's not often we get such nice visits here in Bucharest, so very happy for this. Normally we have a chance to meet at the shows, ICE, and so on, but especially, of course, your own great events. But really pleased that you are making the effort and taking the time to visit us, so thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Going back memory lane, we started out having a small business office in London, and then we had a development hub here in Bucharest. This goes back to where Romania was not even part of the EU. So back then there were like really big salary differences. Software company, we were self-funded. I founded the company with one other guy. We had a bit of money from previous enterprises that we've been doing, but we didn't really have that much money, so we're trying to find every possible way that we could build without spending too much. And so Romania was a good place to start. Since then, things have changed dramatically. Bucharest today is a completely different place. Really undergone huge developments in the last decade and a half of while I've been here. But so step by step, and that kind of let's say modest means and self-reliance, I think, is a part of our DNA today, and we've always been forced to initially to make sure that we did things in efficient ways because there was no daddy to come around and help us with the bills if we couldn't make ends meet. So ups and downs, but on a trend that has gone really well for us. Yeah.
So when the company was founded, you started off obviously in London, and you had, I think, 3 sort of hubs. Fast forward to now, and there's 13 different offices in 3 different continents. Was that always the plan to have huge global ambitions and across all different verticals of the industry?
I would say not necessarily, but what quickly did become a part of our DNA was that we felt fairly confident in managing being in different places. We always worked our philosophy that if we were to have an office somewhere, it should be our own place, it should be our own entity. We didn't say, we need 100 people and outsource from India or whatever. If we went into some place, we would establish a proper subsidiary of our company locally in that country, have our own local management team, make sure that the people that were in that country had what they needed to be self-reliant and not just taking orders from the top, if you like. So in this way, not so much a big ambition to have 13 officers. It's more that once we hit 5, 6, 7, then we felt we have found a way to handle this, that our organization was able to manage as well, which meant also that we could take opportunities without any fears of how it would be to add yet one more unit there. So at times, this has been very business driven, like our US offices there, obviously, to help us penetrate the US gambling market. In other places, other times it's been more opportunity driven. Like last year, we acquired a small company with a development team in Philippines. We have incorporated an EveryMatrix entity in Philippines. Right now, actually, exactly this month, actually, opening a nice office there. And knowing that we're able to do this, so without having to say, we have to move this to one of our development hubs instead, we can say, this team is good, it's understanding well, let's keep this in rather than changing things, enforce them, give them more resources, both more developers, better office conditions, and so on. So it's an example of, again, it's having both ways. And in the end, it turns out that often you have opportunity to really realize, suddenly it turns out to be an advantage for you that you have a presence somewhere or other. So yeah, we're embracing it and enjoying it.
Absolutely. And I guess one of the big moments in the company's history really was, I think it was 2015, and where you started to pull apart technology and start this sort of modular strategy where all the different units act independently under the group. Could you talk a little bit about that strategy and why that is something that really differentiates EveryMatrix?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. It was a bold move, I would say, because we damn near broke our necks on it. It's quite challenging to refactor from the start. You have this period where you're building a new platform, but you have to service your clients on the old one. So this balancing act was quite difficult. But yeah, in the end, what it gave us was this modularity that allowed us to both operate, manage, and sell different pieces of what we're doing independently. And the idea was, and that turned out to actually come to fruition, the idea was that it's quite hard to sell turnkey in the industry if your target is to target the tier ones. But then we realized that it didn't really work necessarily so well to deliver turnkey to small operators. Small operators have a tendency to do one or two things. They are not big enough and they die, or they start to grow, and then Betson, Kindred, Intake come along, snap them up. In either of these two cases, the platform provider to the little operator misses out. So it's a constant consultation going on the operator space. The only way you really will be able to serve something valuable in the long run is that you have the tier ones as in your client base. And once you realize this, it became clear to us, you cannot rely on these tier ones to move lock, stock, and barrel everything from either another provider or from an in-house over to you. You have to be able to say, in this part of that, we can do something special for you. So the more modular you are, the more you're able to react to needs that operator has. And I think with operators, there's a lot of people say, the big operators, they really want to insource everything, very important. They have control of everything. And to an extent, it's true. However, they, as everyone, have to pick their battles. And their scarce resource always is the development teams. You cannot just say, I'm not very strong casino, so I'll now change this quickly. If you have to start this from scratch, I mean, 2, 3, 4 year period before you're really very competitive. At the same time as maybe your main product is sports or something else in this way. So what we're able to do is to see this or this part is something where right now, this is not really a core part what you want to do. You might be doing it, not doing very well. We can then help. And the key thing is we can plug this in as it fits with you while still allowing you the control of what is normally the most important thing to you is that you control your front-end user experience and you control the data. So these are the two key parts where we give operators, the big operators, the chance to distinguish themselves and then to do this without having to necessarily do things that for them appear very risky, as in changing lock, stock, and barrel. Once you're doing this a few times, and sometimes, of course, you can win the big turnkey like we did in Hungary last year, where they move everything from one of our competitors over to us. This, of course, is great. Then we make more money. It's easier for us. But the very important thing is that you start from the other principle. You don't start from a turnkey and then try to sort of deliver it, but only with some parts. Instead, you start from the Lego principle. I have this block. If you want everything from us, fine. But it's built from the ground up to be modular. And this is a principle that sounds quite simple, but once you're up and running and you have 50 clients, 100 clients, 150 clients, it's actually quite hard to change this when you're already in full motion. And this was why it was hard for us, but it's also why today we benefit from having done this decision.
Yeah, sure. And I guess a big theme then is sort of flexibility and the agility that you can offer. And I guess this strategy can help you be flexible and agile with the geographies that you're in as well. Because in the last few years, you've expanded, of course, into the US. It feels like Latin America is becoming a big part of your strategy. Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about that sort of growth that you're looking at across the globe with partners and going after these newly regulated markets?
Yeah, I can. It is actually one of, I would say, strange or paradoxical things about us is that right now we're enjoying like extreme success. We grew 75% last year, which is quite unusual for a very large company. So very, very strong growth. However, almost all of this remains still in Europe. So I know it's a challenge for me and for my colleagues and companies to say, we take something that was probably the most contested of all the markets, most mature is the European landscape, most advanced in many ways from regulation point of view, from player point of view. We take this and say, how can we take this, which evidently is working really real well in Europe, and expand? So yes, we are doing things there with efforts in the US, with efforts in LATAM, also now in Africa. And I'm not an illusion that it's easy, but what I do believe in is the proven ability we have there will carry over. And that what we need to do is to have the same localization focus, which in essence is what we're doing on the product side, that we allow our product people to work only focused on one product. Well, we need the same here when it comes to geography. The fact that the products are spread out in this modular fashion also allows us to tackle what localizations are needed on a product by product basis, which makes it, let's say, more of a manageable project to say, what do I need for the sportsbook or for the casino or for the payments or for the PAM to be competitive in this new territory. I can spread this out, and this helps me quite a lot.
Sure. And you say that, there are challenges to overcome. What do you think those challenges are in pursuing those, that expansion in regulated markets?
I think it's very much a commercial one. I feel quite confident that on the product side, on the operation side, we have what it takes. It is one of marketing and sales much more than it's on products, and this makes it a well-defined and I think quite manageable challenge for us. But yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, and the proof is in the pudding because as EveryMatrix updated the industry earlier this year, 2023 was a very successful year with sort of records set in several different metrics. Could you give your assessment of 2023 as a whole and maybe where you can improve in 2024?
Yeah. Man, it was a very good year, and they exceeded our expectations, they exceeded our budgets, and what what was unusual and what we hope to replicate in 24 is that we're able to, at the same time, invest a lot into products. We really expanded. We opened new offices. We built new products. We did things that really are investments into 24, 25, 26. But at the same time as we did all these investments, we had the ability to deliver a very strong profitability. So like normally you think either I'm focusing my resources on growth or I'm focusing on profit. So what we did last year was that we did both. And this is what I hope to do again in 24 and maybe in 25. If you don't do both, then I think you will be a little bit in trouble. There are companies that say, "Oh, it's okay, we are not making so much money, but it'll come later." That is true, but if you miss out, then you risk going into a phase where you underinvest. Mm-hmm. If I have an opportunity, a commercial opportunity that demands that I hire 20 people for this, but it's worth its while, this opportunity, then I'm able to do it without batting an eye. Because of the way we are structured, because of the profitability, we have that luxury, and that is a comfort for us, but also for potential leads when you have such a discussion. The financial power, stability becomes also a selling argument in itself, and it's a real factor. So you need the profitability to win these deals. On the other hand, when you then do it, it comes to this self-enforcing positive cycle, and that's where we are.
Yeah, great.
Beautiful place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I guess finally then, you talk about those opportunities that you foresee in the next 12 to 24 months. What do you think those opportunities are? And, will you be really aggressive in your pursuit of chasing those opportunities?
Yeah. Well, I think one key area in terms of sector is the lottery space. Mm-hmm. We have managed to win by now 5 deals in the lottery space. Is for a casino product and is for a sports product. And we stand out here because most of the lotteries today are using products from larger and older suppliers than us. So it is a very interesting area. These are very solid companies. They typically do very, very good businesses, but sometimes are lacking in modernization and being able to compete with, let's say, the more commercial, pure commercial bred operators. So they face this challenge on a global level, and we have found a way to work with operators here. They're quite different from others. So in terms of vertical, I think it will be there. In terms of geography, we discussed that already. Sure. We want to, we need to, and we're aiming to expand with the existing products, but in terms of service.
Fantastic. Yeah. Ebbe, thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to today's iGaming Daily podcast, supported by Optimove, the #1 CRM marketing solution for the iGaming market. If you want to find out more about some of the subjects raised today, feel free to explore any of the sites in the SBC News Network or check out the latest edition of the SBC Leaders magazine. Happy reading.